check my names. Baby, how you feeling? Head toss, check my names. Baby, how you feeling? Check my names, baby, how you feeling? Head toss, check my names, baby, how you feeling? Head toss, 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 head
Y'all put your hands together. Woohoo! Yes.
Yes.
I am so excited. If you can believe that this has been 4 years in the making. We figured out the timetable, Tamika and I did, and it's been about 4 years. Today, all of you will be a part of her story. Yes. You know what? That Andy Cohen, his brand don't have nothing on what's coming out now, tonight. And I'm here to tell you, Andy got a new face. And reality TV will never be the same after you see some of the clips with these ladies here with Divas in the City. Y'all do your head like this, just shake your head like this. It is so exciting to be here. Many of you were with us back in April when we did the launch of the show, and I auditioned. And I'm like, oh, I got it. I got it. And they invited me back to do the reunion show. These ladies have opened up their hearts. They have opened up their homes and their lives. If you haven't seen it, you got the weekend. This is a wonderful continued Juneteenth. Okay, this is gonna be the whole Juneteenth weekend. This is a great series to binge. I'm here to tell you, y'all binge stuff on Netflix, on Prime Video, on Tubi. I need you to go to Divas in the City TV on YouTube, and hopefully our tech person can put it in the chat, throw it up on the screen so you guys can see it. I need you to go there. You need to binge watch so that you'll be prepared for season 2. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even ask them if they was doing season 2, but I'm sure after the night, they're going to put their heads together and say, we might be able to do this. But you know what? Y'all see, I am sharing the platform, and you see it's purple with all these wonderful queens. Good evening, queens.
Good evening.
Or I should say, good evening, divas. City ain't got nothing on us. This is my first question. I know what mine is, but what's the most memorable or surprising moment from season 1 that you think the fans will never forget? We'll start with you, Karen.
Well, the surprising moment for me was more talking to my daughter one-on-one and seeing what it meant to her, what my books meant to her, since I wrote them or made those stories up when she was a toddler, and now that she's going to be 23, and really understanding what they meant to her. So that was the most memorable moment for me.
Wow. Could I say, of course, Donna knows what I'm going to say.
Okay, see, it's your turn. Okay.
I'm sorry. The most memorable moment for me is when my lovely sister called me and said, "Who did that? Who did that?" I mean, Giselle, my God, that is unbelievable. Who did that story? And she just kept asking me a million questions. I said, "Kathy, we're not doing a school assembly." That's what the what she what was like, oh, we're in sixth grade and we're waking up and doing an assembly on 9 o'clock on a Friday. I said, no, we've been working on this. This is our stories. We want people to know who we are. We are divas in the city. And it finally clicked. Oh, okay. This is something. This is something happening.
Well, Kevra.
So the most memorable was for me, one of my sorority sisters called me and she was like, "Hey, are you on some type of reality show or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "Oh, okay, because I got a phone call that somebody saw you on, I don't remember what platform she saw me on, and then when they saw it, they kind of like shared it and stuff, and then people just started talking about it. Because I do my little part, but when people start talking and calling me to see if it's me, so that was really cool as well. Outside of everything else in the world I got going on, just to see that I had something for myself.
Well, we have a great audience so far tuning in. You just got a bunch of hearts. You guys are getting a bunch of hearts and likes. We have Shayna Thomas, who's tuned in all the way from Bel Air, Maryland. We have Miss Flora Johnson, who's in North Carolina. No, she's in Virginia. She's watching from Virginia. All right. And we say thank you to Danye for tuning in. What would you say was your moment, Dr. Donna? You're muted. She's okay. What was your moment, Tamika?
Yes, yes. So, let's see. I have many favorite moments, but what's best for me as a creator and producer, on this, a co-creator, co-executive producer on this show is seeing all the cast stories and see how people react to them, and the engagement to the episodes, and then what people who have watched the show, that know me and told me there were different moments that they really liked. I know in particular, Karen's episode or segment with her daughter Ariana, someone my friend told me was really special to her. She really connected, as a disabled mom, and writing her book, Karen's book, Ariana, Magic Boots, and just hearing everybody's, you know, um, hearing what they're saying, the feedback. That's why we create, because we want to create that representation and things that people can relate to and see. So, and I must say as well that we do have an opening that's coming up pretty soon for our series. Unfortunately, one of our divas can no longer be part of the show. So we do have an opening. So we will be mentioning that soon to join Divas of the City cast.
All right.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So y'all, yeah, it's like 2 minutes, y'all. Say it in 2 minutes.
Yes.
When you send your video, 2 minutes. Count them. Feed the neighbors. That is 2, 30, 60, 90, 120 seconds. Okay. So you go 30, 60. That's 1. Then 30, 60. That's 2. And you done. This is not like at the funeral where they give you 2 minutes to speak and you speak for 15 and you eulogize the person. We're not doing this because we can't do that on TV. Okay. All right. Just listen from your girl. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm trying to get all y'all on TV.
Are you trying to say she was too long? Is that what you mean? I,
Ah,
I think you just read the executive producer, right? I mean, okay.
Uh,
I can drink some water. You know what?
I'm scared to say anything. Okay.
No, she said there's an opening in the show. And I said, yep, when you do your audition, it's 2 minutes. Friends and neighbors. This is not Raekwon's funeral. No.
We
And
will
this is
consider
not
those
testing
that go
her.
2.5.
Dr. Donna.
Yes.
Okay, for me, when you said you had the idea and you were going to call Tamika, that was my moment. That I know somebody that's going to create something that I could watch on TV. Oh,
And that
I
and
started,
that's
I
really
started
the vision.
counting my little coins. I was like, girl, how much it's going to cost? What you need me to do?
You were right there. You were right there. I
I
mean,
just,
when it's almost like when the concept was born, that was my most memorable moment. Just actually see everything, actually the vision come to fruition. And it's almost like it's like a mini vision. It's like, oh, this is starting to look like the really big thing. Because we'll answer probably this a little later in the show. What's next for this? I mean, bigger dreams, bigger dreams. And this is just like,
absolutely.
yeah, this is like a taste, like a little bit punctuated, abbreviated
Well, wait a
portion
minute. Did y'all
of
see
what
that?
the
She said
vision looks like.
abbreviated, punctuated. Come on, everybody, ready? It's abbreviated and punctuated. Abbreviated and
You
punctuated.
know, you got to get into it. You got to get into it, right? You got to, because it's been that feeling from the beginning, right? And it really has. And just to see everyone's stories come to life, and even though that they're, like I said, the abbreviated clips that they were, it's still powerful because
Yeah.
it took a lot to get to that. And I think that's I guess the point I want to make, that the process is not, when you come to the end of something, it's the process that you really like can take a step back and say, wow, we did that. We really did this, you know?
I think that's a piece that we miss. We always see a finished product, but to have everyone to be included in all parts of it and not just say, okay, you got cast and you just show up. I think that's the piece that is made such an indelible impression upon my heart and my mind, to see the women. And then when the clips finally came out, I was like, oh, and we had just did our piece for Arts for All. So Giselle and
Yeah.
I have been working together for over a year and some on another project. And then this project came up, and they kind of overlapped. So I want to commend you, Giselle, for your energy. And I'm always every night, Lord Jesus, please just give me a little bit. I love to see you dance in the street. And I said, Lord, can I have just a smidge of that? I
Yeah.
ain't for all of it, just a smidge.
Yep.
That's the piece that I love. So I'm gonna start with you. What are some of the behind the scene things that happened that did not make it to the screen? What was left on the cutting floor?
Um, well, as you know, I am the artistic director of ZCO Dance Project, and it was something that started out of the blue. I've always been a dancer, but when I became disabled, I wanted to give back because God gave me back my life, and I wanted to give back to others and show persons, individuals, how dance can be a form of healing. Now, fast forward, I have these dancers in the company, and yes, I'm showing them on film and in rehearsals and whatever, but no one ever knows what goes on behind the scenes. How I have to deal with them one on one, how I have to deal with the attitudes and the personalities, and dropping out of the rehearsal at the last minute, or dropping out of the performance after I paid money for costumes, cursing me out, you name it, it happened. And, you know, I have to put on a professional hat, but sometimes I have to go ghetto. Like I don't know what the bleep, bleep, bleep you're talking about, but this is a company and I'm trying to make a statement. This is who we are. We're dancing on stage. We're showing people how we perform despite our limited mobility. We are dancers. We are performers. We want to give to others. We want to show the audience we are bold. We are proud. We are beautiful. But these dancers sometimes don't know what it is going on behind the scenes. You know, how much I have to work, both doing choreography, administrative work, hiring choreographers, hiring set designers, videographers, you name it. I have to do it on my own. I have two computers on my table at all times. So that's what you guys haven't seen. You just see the
So
end
so
result.
the bleep bleep bleep. How
Yeah,
many
the
of you
bleep
ladies
bleep.
had some bleep 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 moments?
Yeah, the bleep
You
bleep
mean
bleep.
the bloopers? We need to
The
show those
bloopers.
bloopers,
No,
right?
not the bloopers. She
Oh, the
said
bleep.
bleep bleep bleep
Oh,
because some things cannot be said on television. Did anybody
Yeah.
else have some moments where they were like,
I can say I was doing one portion where I was talking to one of my clients, and so he knew that I was doing the show, and he gave me permission to record um our meeting. I'm a publisher, and he was my author, so we were talking about his book and everything. And it was just not going the way I wanted to go. He was being really mean and stuff, and I was like, you know what? I just stopped. I said, I ain't about to record you, but they're gonna be like, that girl got an attitude, and I'm not about to give nobody nothing that not really. You know how you try to be professional, but then they trying to play in your face moment type thing. So
Mhm.
that was, I can say, the only thing is for me, and all, of course, doing the retakes on stuff. But for me, that was just that moment. And I felt it would have been such a great moment because it was authentic, and it was something that we were actually. It wasn't like you say this and I say it. It was more so like, hey, we're working, and then so yeah, that's the only thing I can say for me.
I love it.
Mhm.
Miss Karen,
Yes.
you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, would you please?
Hmm. How many bleep bleep bleep
Cute.
moments did you have?
I didn't actually have any bleep moments. The only thing I had that meant something to me that didn't make in the takes was when I walked the runway in Boston for Children's Hospital, and there were other women there that were had disabilities, different ages and backgrounds, and for me that meant something because as someone myself with the disability, like everyone else here, we're not always invited to certain tables.
mhm.
So
Hmm.
that show was emotional to me because it's like we built the table ourselves. We didn't need to be invited anywhere. And it was phenomenal.
What about
Mel
you,
was
Mel?
here. Mel was here.
Hey, Mel,
Hi.
smile.
Any
God love
hi.
you. Hey,
Let's see. Were you asking me were there any bleep bleep moments?
yes, ma'am.
Oh, you
Oh,
have
we
to
had a
also ask her what the most memorable moment too.
ooh, okay. Well, this was so originally when we started the whole process of creating the play, everything was going pretty smooth. We had a big hiccup, which was a moment for me. We solidified a vendor, no, excuse me, a venue, a theater to host the event at the stage play. And I got a text message at midnight, like 12 o'clock in the morning, saying, "Hey, you're not gonna be able to use the venue." So at this point, I'm panicking. Like I'm like tears coming out my eyes. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Who I'm supposed to call at 12 o'clock at night? Like
Mm.
this is horrible. Like, I don't know what to do. And I remember actually talking to Tamika about it. I was like, I don't know what to do. So she really helped me in finding like some funding and things like that to be able to host a play. So we end up actually going back to the DMA, Dallas Museum of Art, and hosting it there. But it was in those moments, like, I believe it was like 4 days that went by. I had no idea where we was going to be hosting the play. And it was 2 weeks before the play.
Wow.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was super nervous. I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
it turned out okay.
it did. Yeah, it did.
Uh,
And we actually have a couple of more shows coming up in September as well as October. So
Yeah, I mean
that,
that's a diva moment. That's a
yes.
diva. I mean, really, when you hear when everything turned out okay, you know that I think that needs to be really celebrated and hoorayed. You know, right?
Yeah.
Because we stayed a course. I mean,
Mhm.
what goes behind the scenes, people don't see. They don't see your stomach turning. They don't know that you had to find a venue in 2 weeks. And what even goes to getting that show advertised and marketed, because now you that's amazing. That's a diva.
Mhm.
That's a diva moment. That's dynamic, illuminating, victorious. Achievement.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you.
that's it.
The time is now 21 minutes after the hour. It is 7:21 Eastern Standard Time. And we want to say thank you so much if you're just now tuning in to Divas in the City TV, where this is their first reunion show. We are here with the cast and the creators. And I am your host, Dr. Kimberly, and I'm so excited to be here with these ladies. It has been a pleasure so far. And if you are just now tuning in, each and every one of us here on this screen, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 7 of us. Each of us has a different disability. And so what you're watching, witnessing is history on tonight, or I should say, it's her story that's happening on tonight. I told them earlier when we first started, better move over Andy Cohen and his reality TV shows, because we got another one that's up and coming, and that's Divas in the City TV. So it is an honor and a privilege to be able to host on tonight, to know that each one of you women have persevered through your own personal challenges, open up your heart, open up your mind, you became transparent, and you let the world see, you let them know that guess what? We cry when we get sad, we laugh when we're happy, we eat when we're hungry, we sleep when we're tired, and sometimes we might have some bleep bleep moments, and some pieces of our lives we want to leave on the cutting floor, but we're still here. We show up unapologetically with everything that we have so that we can show the world that we're not what you think we are or who you think that we are. And every day, in every single moment, we're dismantling ableism. So thank
Mhm.
you so much for
Yeah.
allowing me to be a part of this. Now,
Rock that.
I want to move over a little bit uh, over to the creators. Donna, I know a little piece just because I was kind of there at the beginning, and it's nice to have friends. So for those who do not know, everyone, Tamika, can you tell people where you live?
Yep. So I live in Detroit,
Okay.
Michigan, Motor City.
So y'all know how this works, right? Only Michigan do this. So Tamika's from over here. All right, she's in Michigan. Karen, where are you from?
I'm in Rhode Island.
And Kebra,
Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas.
Zazelle.
New York City.
Ooh, New York, baby. Mel.
The Big D, Dallas, Texas.
Right.
Dr. Donna, where are you?
The nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. And
Mm.
I'm over here in West Michigan.
All
So
right.
as you can
Wow,
see,
we spread out.
we have
Yes.
covered the North, the South, the East, and the West. We've covered the whole United States in representation. So, child, y'all better look around in your neck of the woods. If you missed it, they are holding casting calls for season 2. So we'll make sure that we get that information out, and it will definitely be posted on Rolling on the Road so that you can see it. And we want to say thank you because this is airing on my page as well. And there are so many folks who have tuned in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Vertaji, who is in Detroit, says hello to all of you ladies. She said, great day. Brenda Anderson, she says, hello, hello, hello. She says, happy blessed Friday to all of you. We have um, Mary Townsend, who is watching from Washington State.
Oh,
So, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you
Awesome.
for sharing, guys. Thank you for
Thank you.
allowing me to share with my network as well. Now, I want to talk a little bit to, as I was stating, to Donna
Mm-hmm.
first.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
Are you
Talk to
sure?
me.
Are you
Talk to me.
sure? Because I didn't give you no piece of paper, and I didn't rush you.
I'm just like, what you trying to say? What do you want to know? I was just, go ahead, work with me. Tell me.
What kind of woman
Ooh,
wakes up in the middle of the night and decides she wants to change the world
ooh.
and wants to do it through media? What kind of woman is that?
That's a woman who's determined, who's had life experiences that know what it looks firsthand of being left out and not seen, and knowing the power in media and how it has the ability to transform lives because of what you see, and how if you can see it, you can have that manifestation of yourself. And that is the most powerful thing. So that's what kind of woman is: the woman who's determined, who's passionate, and who's also, I would say, living life as she sees the life that she wants to live or see the world to be. And that's just a really great segue too, because I went to an exhibit today. I went to see the Elizabeth Catlett exhibit here in Washington D.C. at the National uh, Gallery of Art. And as I sort of walked through the exhibit, powerful art, there was a personalized statement that Elizabeth Catlett sort of stated. And I said, I'm gonna this is powerful. She says, Negro women in America have long suffered under the double handicap of race and sex. And I thought, you know what? Yes. And when we talk about disability, so women in America, Black women in America have suffered under the triple handicap, right? Of race, sex, and disability. And that is also what drives me, because disability and power and woman and beauty, all of these have just been conflicting terms that we didn't really see ourselves in that at all. So here we are with this TV show that sort of emerges from a vision, right? At night, and just says, start now, because the vision is to have it as a major TV show. Why not? Why not? Why
Mhm.
not? If you can't dream it, I mean, why not? I always say, why not? Right? So this is just the beginning of it, and it's just truly, truly, like awakening, right? Because it lets you know that if you can see it, if you can feel it, then you make that an action.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
To me,
probably was a long way around the
no.
world. I just
Shayna,
want to say
I love that. I love it.
Shayna
I,
said to
I
you,
love that.
uh, she
You
said,
know,
I agree. So the audience is agreeing, and you got tons of hearts that are just
Yeah.
flying off my
I mean,
page.
I really feel that. That really touched my heart, because
It
I'm
it
gonna
does.
tell you a short story. I remember I was watching the Today Show in the morning, and I won't say one of the names, but her name, but she was one of the members of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she made a comment like, "You're not a real woman unless you're walking down the street in your high heels and letting everybody see you." And I mean, I was just like, what? You're not a
Mhm.
woman unless you're in your high heels? I don't think so. And I was so angry. I was so angry. I mean, I was just like, I've got to contact these people. I mean, who does she think she is? Does she know who we are?
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
She doesn't. No, and as you know, Black women, that's a major thing. They don't sometimes see that we're at the intersection of being
Yes.
Yeah.
Black women,
You
right?
know,
Black
there is a
women.
lot of intersectionality. And what I love a few weeks ago, because they are known for wearing their red bottoms. They're always talking about, their red bottoms and who got the latest pair. And I love that a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Donna posted a picture of me in my wheelchair with my foot up so you could see my red bottom. I don't
Yes.
have to walk in it, I can roll in it.
And now we got to
Yes.
deal with them coming to Rhode Island. So, woo-hoo.
Huh?
I said now I'm gonna be dealing with them here in Rhode Island because there's gonna be a Real Housewives of Rhode Island's.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So
Mm.
I'm happy. But my I just wanted to like add on to what Dr. Donna said, the triple threat, being a woman of color and with a disability, that is the reason why I had to publish my children's books myself. Because when I sent out those books 10, 15 years ago, that's pretty much exactly what they said to me. We don't know how to market you.
Hmm.
They didn't know how to market me because I'm a woman of color, because I'm a woman, and because I had a disability.
Will you please tell them what your disability is? Because I don't think anybody's going to believe it.
My disability is a rare genetic disorder called Beals syndrome. It's spelled Beals. A lot of people are familiar with Morphans, so it's kind of like Morphans, but they call it the brother or sister of it. So it's more of a connective tissue disorder, and it stems with severe scoliosis and club feet.
Mm.
So that's basically what it is.
And I want to also piggyback on what Donna and Karen said about being
Hold
a
on,
woman.
hold on for
Oh,
with that real quick, Giselle.
that was Kevra.
That
Did
was
you
Sorry.
lose some of
That
your
was Kevin.
vision for your
that
sight,
was.
Say it
Karen?
again. Oh,
Did you lose your
Oh,
sight,
I'm sorry,
your vision?
my vision. No, I'm just for what my books you're saying or
No, I'm talking about seeing.
oh no, I didn't never lose my sight, but I do have glaucoma. So it's been I have been monitored since I was in my early 20s, so I don't lose my sight. And happy to announce I haven't yet, and I'm gonna be 45 next in a couple months. So um no, they haven't. But some people do if they're not tested sooner, because most people look for glaucoma when you get older, not when you're in your 20s.
We have a comment from the audience, and it says we can do it all from chairs and using other equipment to help us be independent, and we can wear it all.
yeah, absolutely. And Kevin,
Yes.
and Kevin
Yes.
was making a powerful statement too.
That was
It's
from Shayna in Bel Air, Maryland.
you know. So Kevin, what were you saying? I'm sorry, Dr. Kimberly. Kevin was saying something really powerful too of how something resonated with her.
Oh yeah, so I was just adding to what Karen and Dr. Donna stated as far as being women with a disability, well, women of color with a disability. So back in November of last year, and then I got with 9 other women of color with disabilities, and we did an anthology called Our Power, the anthology Melanated Queens Rising Beyond Disabilities. And it was just a book with me as the visionary author, nine other melanated women with disabilities, telling our different stories. And one of my platform with my publishing company is people with disabilities, because a lot of times we get overlooked and we can't, and people don't understand. I think I understand better as someone with a disability how it's important to share our story, meaning that, and we've all been there, meaning that somebody that doesn't know you may see you and they're wondering what happened now, or they be wondering, well, how did she get married, how did she have a kid, and blah blah blah. And the fact that I had these courageous women to share their story, and not only did they share this story, they also educated people about different type of spinal cord injuries, how they got injured. Some were shot, some were, things like that. And it had such an amazing turnout because it was, when you're dealing with 10 women that with their own platform, and it had such an amazing turnout. Even people that have been knowing me from years was telling me, wow, I didn't even know that you went through this, and I've been knowing you for over 20 years, like you never said nothing. And so I just think, when Karen was saying how they didn't know how to market her, and that was like one of the reasons why I did what I did, because I think a lot of times we as women, we've got two things already against us. One, we're Black or of color, and we have a disability. And it's sad to say, but we already got two things going against us. And it's kind of like sometimes we got to fight harder to be seen, if that makes sense. And so that was just my 2 cents on it. And
Yeah.
I'm done.
Tamika, my father would always say he lost his vision or sight due to diabetes, and he was old. Well, as he got older, his hair turned white, and he would always say, "Don't talk to my hair and don't talk to my eyes. I need you to talk to me." How do you get people to talk to you without talking to your chair?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge because of the stereotypes that exist of what it means to be to be Black woman, to be disabled. I have a spinal cord injury, so as well. So, I use a wheelchair. And so when people see me, they see the wheelchair, they see that I'm Black and the woman, and their preconceived ideas of me, sometimes have, gotten in the way. So the way I combat that is really just being myself. Because once you know, who you are, you become more secure. So, okay, you might say something, you may look at me, but I'll smile, I'll talk, I'll, you know, show them through my words and through my presence, just my very presence of who I am. And so once people, hear me, talk to me, and get to know me, it's like, oh, wow, and they surprise, unfortunately, all the things that I was able or I'm able to, accomplish in those things. So, it's definitely a challenge, and like what, Donna and Cameron, where everyone is saying, that having a disability, being, a woman of color, being a Black woman, it is challenging, but it goes back to, again, knowing who you are, knowing your worth, knowing your value, and you have a right to everything that everyone else has.
And
So
you
you
have,
just have
that's
to,
right.
roll in that, walk in that, whatever, how you get around, and then people will recognize it when you come in the room.
True
Yeah,
that.
The
people,
other piece,
That's
I'm
powerful.
sorry. I
it is.
always tell this story. I've told this story to
Hold on,
Donna.
hold on, hold on one
I'm
second, Giselle. Hold on one second, because this was the creators' part and their,
sorry.
their piece. And I'm gonna come right back to you as soon as I finish with this question with her. Is is this why you chose storytelling?
Yes, I
Because
would,
everybody has a different way
yeah,
of expressing themselves when it comes to how I want the world to see me and understand me. I love Zazelle's way. I love to watch her dance because you see her come out on that, cane, and it's almost like with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where they see this man, he's just shuffling out, shuffling out, and gets almost to the end and drops the cane, does this flip, tips his hat, and it's like, oh, and that reminds me of her. And it's like slapping the world in the face. When I see her move, I love her intro.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what is it for you that makes you, I just want to say, the way she wiggled, like, yes.
Yeah, well, I was. Thank you.
But
Well,
what gets you
as
what gets you
I've
going with
mentioned, I've told this story numerous times, but I'm originally from a small island in the Caribbean, and in the Caribbean, you cannot, they don't see people who are disabled unless you are elderly, unless you're an older person. So when I first became disabled, I'll never forget. My mother brought this woman to the house to see me, to see how I was doing, and I was talking with her, and she said to me, "Oh, Zazel, look at you now. We all thought you were going to be a star, and now you can't walk, you can't do a thing." And I said, "Excuse me." I
Ooh.
mean, she was just writing me, "You can't do a thing.
You can't do a thing. A thing.
You can't do a
Not
thing."
a damn thing. Not a damn thing.
And so I said, "Well, I have a dance company for physically integrated dance company. I'm a disability advocate. I've done modeling." And she says, "But," I said, "What's disability? What's that?" And I went out of my way to explain it to her, but it just went right over her head. And when I go to that island, it's the same thing over and over again. It goes right over their heads because they can't see someone who's disabled being in front of a camera, modeling, dancing, writing. You're just nothing. You're nothing.
Or run for office.
Or run for office. Oh, I mean, forget it. They would never see. They would understand that. No,
Yeah.
And that's why media is important. And
it's
so
important. Yes,
important, because we telling stories and being visual, like the whole idea of seeing the manifestation, of your life is just transformative. If you don't see it, you don't even know what you can become, right?
absolutely.
You don't have an idea.
Exactly,
You don't
exactly.
have an
And
idea.
yes, and that's what, going back to your question, Dr. Kimberly, that that was why I got into media, because I always wanted to be in different, like, wanted to, my mom say, I tell a story, wanted to be Orphan Annie on stage, and it was auditioning. So, like, I always loved the arts, but I was, throughout high school and even trying to go into college, I was discouraged and actually discriminated against from
Hmm.
Mhm.
even attending the broadcasting school, because they said that, I had because I used a wheelchair, I could not be in video production or radio. I
Hmm.
was told I couldn't be, a model at 16 years old, even though, I had, the look of, being a model. I was so told no so many times. So, just like, okay, I want to create those images that I lacked seeing growing up. So that's why I did my girl story. That's why,
Hmm.
I have a great time, producing alongside Donna, on the series. And then I'm working on, other projects as well, because we need our stories are valid, is valued, and it's important. And people need to see representation and need to see, what's going on in our lives.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's very important to me.
It is now 44 minutes after the hour. We want to say thank you so much for those of you who started with us and have continued on these last 44 minutes. If you have not seen the show, that's what you're going to do this weekend. You're going to binge watch. Get you some popcorn, get your beverage of your choice, and you're going to binge watch. And then you're going to come back to this video and you're going to say, oh my God, all of this kind of makes more sense to me. Now, I think we have a little treat for you, little ladies. I believe that we have some clips that we want to show, and we are going to start with Karen. We got some highlights from Karen.
Yes, yes. And so I'm going to show a little bit of each. The full clip is of each highlight is like 4 minutes. We don't got that time, so I'm going to show just a little bit from each, about a minute from each person.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen Gasparini and I'm from Rhode Island. I'm a diva because I'm a boss lady that doesn't let my disability get in the way of doing what I need to do. I'm a mom, a model, and an inspirational guest speaker. I write children's books called Ariana's Magic Boots, where my main character wears like braces that take her on different adventures. She calls them her magic boots. Ariana's Magic Boots is my daughter Ariana.
And next we will have Melva's highlight segment.
Let's see. Let's go to Kebra's for
Kebra? Okay.
Yes.
Best-selling Amazon author of 5 novels. I have my own lipstick line, Tropical Song Collection, as well as my own publishing company, Welcome to the Storm Publishing. I am married. I have 2 grown sons, and one thing about me, I want you guys to know is crab legs. Some crab legs. Yes, ma'am. I can eat crab legs all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. All right. Thank you guys so much.
When you hear your child crying for help, the first thing you want to do is jump out. But I couldn't get to him because, of course, I'm paralyzed, not knowing I'm paralyzed.
She said, I can't move my legs. About that time, a nurse came up. She saw the accident from the room. She was a nurse. She came up and she started praying with my wife. She said, do you believe in Jesus Christ?
And she was my angel from all the way around it. Not only was she a nurse, but she was a prayer warrior.
Took us to the hospital. They checked us out. I can see her going into the x-ray room from the room across from where I was. I heard my son crying.
It wasn't even about me. It was all about, is my child going to be okay?
Her vertebrae was smashing up against her spinal cord, which was causing the paralysis.
At that point, I was diagnosed with a T12 incomplete fracture.
December 24th, I guess, will always hold a sentimental day in our family history.
That was Melvin's clip.
That was Kebra.
Kebra?
That's Kebra. Yes.
Yeah, we did a little switcheroo on you.
And here is Melva's clip.
I really enjoy traveling with my family, with my girls. I'm a girl's girl. I really enjoy shopping. Yes, I love shopping. Retail therapy. But I also like self-care days. Those are my, oh my goodness, y'all. Self-care days, I love it, okay? And I love a good audiobook. That's my wind down time, baby. To myself, my earphones on, I'm in a whole nother zone. In 2007, I lost a significant amount of my vision due to an optic atrophy. I was lost. I was devastated. I was depressed. I felt alone. Truth. I cried every day. Every day, my heart felt like it was just breaking into pieces. I felt like this is not how life's supposed to be. I went through a lot of changes in my life. 2007, I lost my vision. 2008, I lost my dad to lung cancer. 2009, I lost my mom to breast cancer. And then all through all of those things, I was really going through a verbal, physical, abusive relationship. And I realized like going into these spaces with other people that were blind, visually impaired really encouraged me. It had really inspired me to do more, find out who I am. And so me developing myself was also a moment of me helping other people. And so that's actually how Living Beyond Limits became a full 501c3 nonprofit, a creation of mine to really share and be an advocate and to help other people that are blind, visually impaired. Because my blindness does not define me. Becoming blind at first, it seemed like my life was over, but it was just, I was reminded.
Yes.
And last but not least, Gazelle.
Zazai.
Zaya.
Y'all.
Hello, everyone.
Oh,
My
Lord.
name is Zizelle Shava O'Gara, and I'm a dancer, a model, an actress, and most importantly, a diva with a disability. I became disabled about 20 years ago after surviving a benign brain tumor, which left me partially paralyzed on my right side. I refused to let becoming disabled stop me from pursuing my dreams. As a result, I started ZCO Dance Project, a physically integrated dance company, and our mantra is we thrive and survive. A little bit more about my background. I am originally from the small Caribbean island of Montserrat, West Indies, and only has 5,000 people. And I grew up in Queens, New York. I attended the High School of Performing Arts and studied extensively at Alvin Ailey and Dance Theater of Harlem, where we performed at Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, and various other places throughout New York City. I performed abroad and off-Broadway, and I even graced the cover of 2 Essence magazines. As you can see, I love performing, and I love being in front of the camera. So come share my passion of dance, of performing with me. Once again, my mantra is turning setbacks into comebacks. Yes.
Woohoo! Oh my
Yes.
God. Woo! So grateful. Y'all see how that moves? He make me want to just do the moves. Okay? Do the moves. You would not believe we only have 8 minutes left. This has just been marvelous. And as we close out these last few minutes, who wants to tell me what's going to happen next? Are we going to have a new season? Because we already heard that you're going to do some auditioning. So,
Yes, you
you
well, I
tell
guess I can.
we want
Yes,
to be able to
We want the tea, producers. We want the tea. That's what she's saying.
Yes.
yes, yes.
Mm.
Yes, give us the TEA.
Yes, yes. So, yes, we are working on season 2. We had such a great. Yes, 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 yes. So we're going to, be working on that with funding and all those things. So we're going to be working hard behind the scenes to do a season 2. But while we're doing that, we are going to be also looking in August to do, Don and I looking to do a podcast. And so that's going to be another opportunity. Yes, yes. That'll be another great opportunity where, they're going to invite the cast back on and you will see more women, with disabilities or women without disabilities as well who's living unapologetically and bold. That's all what we about. So we're doing the podcast. Also, we're going to be working with the cast, with the, you ladies, be to do more like segments and things like that so people can see more behind the scenes, of their lives, of your lives, and just, so people can still keep abreast and stay tuned into your stories and what you are doing. So there will be an opportunity. In addition to that, we want to tell other women's stories as well. So we will be posting that, there's a lot of content creators out there that, we've seen who are living boldly, who are passionate or unapologetic women of color, with disabilities. And so we are going to, put the announcement out that we, will be accepting, videos, selected videos that you will send us so we can, air them on Divas in the City TV platforms we're on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I know some of you are watching via Instagram and YouTube right now. So we want to show more great representation and stories of women. So definitely stay abreast to that. We also will be sending out merch. So we'll be creating merch and an ebook. Yes, yes, yes. An ebook as well to show how you can turn your hobbies into revenue streams. We have ebooks about how to have a growth mindset because we know everything starts with the mind. And so we will also be sharing, those type of things and resources to build, the community that we're creating with this platform. So there's a lot to come.
Yeah, there's a lot to come. And I think that in saying there's a lot to come, I mean, that's the visionary of what's going to come, right? Like so, and that's just a piece of it, because what Divas with Disabilities Project wants to do is take all of that's coming in and do a photography exhibit so that we're going to curate all the sort of models, dancers of our women, right? Divas in the City, Divas with Disabilities, all the big family. And we want to look at a museum that we can actually host. And Kemper is somewhat on the line of Bold Beauty when we had that. They had the whole kind of they went to a gallery and they sort of had these wonderful photographies of women displayed. Well, we want to do the same thing this time for Black and Brown women.
It was Raw Beauty.
It was Raw Beauty. Oh, Raw Beauty. Okay, exactly. I thought it was Bold Beauty. But anyway,
we should think about targeting a wonderful museum here in New York City, the Studio Museum of Harlem, or the Schomburg.
Yeah, exactly. So and even taking the all of the clips and having, like, when I went to the museum today, it's good. We can just have these reels constantly going, and people can put on the audio and hear their life stories. And I like to see that more come out. So that's part of when the producing aspects come, more of story of your story. I mean, Giselle, I really want to do a deeper dive of from the time you was diagnosed, from the time, sort of that trajectory of from the beginning to where you are now. Because I think people need to see that you don't wake up with this. What is in the in between? Like, who are you in between? Like the end result of the show and the lipstick. And no. Let's go before that. Because I think that, to me, is where the power really is. Because people really need to see that we are just out here taking our lives. To me, that's where the courage and the determination really comes from. Because I want women to see us in our raw state, and that's why Divas in the City was created, because it was really supposed to pattern like lives of women living out loud, their hustles, their vibe, their bosses in their cities, respective cities. So the vision is still being, is still evolving. So I'm going to add, I want a little bit more titillation, a little more scintillation in the next kind of coming forth.
Yeah.
So let us see that,
yes.
we got lives, we're not always, Black power, like, let's go for it. Absolutely. Advocacy is a major part of our platforms. We got that. But I think the living people don't know that. Like, we date, we have children, we are,
we have grandchildren.
Yeah, and grandchildren.
And I got one on the way.
And you look at that. Look at
and
that.
to see my daughter as well,
Congratulations.
and to see parents too, like, because there's always someone with a disability with families, but there's also not showing that a parent and a child also go through trials and tribulations because they both have disabilities. Because seeing my daughter represent herself last week to a lawyer, I was like, hold up, is that my child? Because the lady looked at her and said, Now, my daughter is in a wheelchair and she's 22 and she has the exact same disability as me. And the lady said to her, because my daughter was prepared for her dad's estate. Some of you don't know that her father recently just suddenly passed away. And she's handling his estate. And she had all the paperwork just like that. And the lawyer's assistant said, "Oh, you're very smart." And my daughter sat back and said, she looked around and said, "I know she ain't talking to me, Mom. You need to talk to her. Like, you need to handle this." Because she was ready to flip out. So I was like, you know what, Ariana? I will handle it. Because you're right. She shouldn't be talking to me. I know she ain't talking to you. Yes, she is. But she says, "Mom," and I'm trying to tell her, let me handle it. But she's like, "Mom, she don't know. I'm on the prestigious dean's list at my college. Like, what's she talking about?"
Oh.
So she's like,
Love
"I
it.
got a 5.0. Like, yeah, of course I'm smart. Like, what?" So, yeah, I would love to see more of the things that, as a parent, as someone with a disability, and as parents, that we also have to make sure we set the stage for our children to advocate for themselves that also have disabilities.
Absolutely. I think that's right on. And and actually
Yes.
having the scenes of where the camera follows you in a day, the day in the life of Zazelle, the day in the life of Kebra, the day in the life of Karen and Melva, just having that camera follow you, because I know people, I really want to see the reaction, how when you roll into a room or walk into a room, what does that look like? I know
Or
there's
Giselle, how she just glides in.
right, exactly.
But it's so funny. Like, New York City is madness, right? It's
Man,
absolute madness.
total.
And so there was one morning I couldn't take Accessoride, which is the disability transportation into Manhattan. And so I had to take the Long Island Railroad and get off of Penn Station, which has a gazillion people. Now, if you're getting off of Penn Station in the morning, everyone is trying to get to work. And they don't care if you are a double amputee walking on your head with one ear and a half a nostril, they will knock you over. And so here I am walking, limping with my cane and like hitting, like move, move, move. And people are pushing me. They do not care. They
No,
don't care.
they
And you
don't
have
care.
to open your mouth. I mean, I'm
You
just like,
do.
do you see? I said, "Excuse me, ma'am. I have a disability." And she said, "So?" And she just moved like, she just walked by me, like pushed me away. I mean, these
Yeah, and
people-
I gotta get to, yeah, you have a disability and I gotta get to work. Okay. So
and then when
it's
I'm
either you or
crossing
me,
the street,
sister.
this was, I'm going to use profanity here. I'm walking the street in the middle of Manhattan. I'm crossing the street. I waited to a light, and a yellow cab turns the corner as I'm crossing the street. And he says, "If you can't walk, get out of the fucking street." Could you believe he said that?
No, I can't believe you said it. But then I can't believe you said that.
I
Yeah,
can.
I can. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's profanity and it sounds like, oh my God, how could they say that? But listen, that's the point. We have to show up as human, right? With the, I guess, human with a disability experience, as opposed to letting our disability show first. No, that's not it. I'm sorry. If you're waiting for your disability to be respected, no, I'm sorry. You're on the wrong train for that. You have to take up space. You have to own your agency, because if you don't, you will not have it. They will totally put you aside. And because
And they say you want to be treated like everybody else. That's what they hit you with.
oh yeah, and that's a good point. And I know we run out of time, but that's a good point of why I had to really embrace using the term disability as opposed to being physically challenged, in terms, because words have meaning. Because this one advocate said to me, he said, "Donna, you really need to work on that language you're using." He said, "When you talk about you have a physically challenge, and I know that you're on your own path and you're not ready." He said, "But let me tell you what happens. When you use the word 'I'm physically challenged,' what happens is that you let everybody off the hook who could give you access."
Yep.
That means if you saying you're physically challenged, what they gonna say? Well, you challenged. Okay, well, if you're physically challenged, then you can just challenge yourself to get up to the 12 steps without an elevator. Right? So we really do have to own it. And it's I rehearse it. I rehearse
Absolutely.
walking into a room and owning it till it becomes that's what I do. I'm not, fake it till you make it sort of thing. It's like, Because now the questions of what happened to you, because people don't think when you walk with a cane and a limp and you're fine that anything could be wrong with you. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't ride a sports car and pull into a handicapped parking space.
Oh my God, don't I know about that?
That ain't happening. You cannot have a convertible car
or
Nope.
a Benz or a Lexus or
or Range Rover.
Or Range Rover. Right.
You're
You
not
just,
supposed to have those things.
of course not. And why are you parking in that space, honey? Excuse me.
Because on the back of my tag it says Dr. Kim K, and it's got the big handicap symbol. Yeah, that's why. But it is now 8:05, and we want to say thank you so much for all of you. Number one, our guests who tuned in, and they've got some final words. This is, oh my gosh, the hearts that are going up right now are just phenomenal. And Shantaz Jones gave you guys hand claps, flowers, as well as hearts. And she is a woman that is with a disability and has a son that has a disability. So Karen, she definitely identifies, with you trying to cope with her own disability, as well as raising her son, who's 7 years old, who I've adopted as my nephew. We have just fallen in love. And Shayna is just, I think you need to audition, especially for all the things that you do. But she says, ladies, you are all amazing. Keep on moving and educating the world about our community. It can be done. And this was a great show. She said, you have to work harder and make sure you show yourself and the world that we are important and that we matter in this world too. And I think that's a great way to end the show. Actually, we're not ending. We're just going to put a comma right here because we're all going to come back.
Yes.
We're coming back. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. And we want to say thank you for those of you who tuned in with us for this hour. And again, go binge watch the show so that you can catch up for season 2. And you can kind of watch and see what people are doing until the next show. They're going to be showing clips of from now until the second season
next show
started. And if you are thinking about participating, again, you get 2.5 minutes to talk. 2.5. You got a problem? Come see me. I can rehearse you and get you ready to be on the show. All right. Thank you so much, Tamika. You could take us out.
Thank you. Yes, please follow Divas in the City TV or YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all those things you see.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. We look forward to you in Diva in the City land.
Thank you. Bye. Mwah.
See you all.